There is a saying in Scotland that if you want to see the best of the country without travelling too far, just visit the Isle of Arran. Often called Scotland in miniature, Arran somehow manages to squeeze rugged mountains, peaceful villages, ancient history and spectacular coastline into one beautiful island. And for this trip, I had 3 days to explore it. My journey began on the mainland in Troon, where I boarded the ferry operated by Caledonian Mackmore, or as most Scots know it, simply Calmac. As the ferry slowly pulled away from the harbour, the Ayrshire coast began to fade behind us, and ahead, the mountains of Arran slowly emerged through the sea mist. Even from a distance, the island looks dramatic, peaks rising straight out of the water like something from a postcard. After about an hour on the water, we arrived in Brodick, the island's main ferry port and largest village. But instead of staying here, I headed across the island toward the west coast, to a small place that perfectly captures Arran's peaceful charm. My first stop was the lovely coastal village of Blackwaterfoot. Tucked away on Arran's western shore, this little village feels wonderfully unhurried. The Firth of Clyde stretches out in front of it, and behind the village you've got rolling green hills and farmland. It's one of those places where the pace of life seems to slow down instantly. Walking along the seafront, the views are incredible. On a clear day, you can see across the water toward the Kintyre Peninsula, and the sunsets here are said to be some of the best on the island. The village itself is small but full of character. Quaint cottages, quiet streets, and that unmistakable feeling that you've escaped the noise of everyday life. Arran is known for its natural beauty, but places like Blackwaterfoot remind you that sometimes the best travel moments are simply wandering somewhere peaceful, listening to the waves and taking it all in. The next morning, I set out to explore one of Arran's most mysterious places, the Machrie Moor Standing Stone Circle. Hidden out on a windswept moorland, these prehistoric stones have stood here for thousands of years. Getting there involves a walk across open countryside, and as these stones slowly appear on the horizon, you can't help but feel a sense of anticipation. No one knows exactly why these circles were built. Some believe they were used for ceremonies. Others think they may have been connected to astronomy. But standing among them today, surrounded by nothing but open sky and quiet countryside, the atmosphere is unmistakably mystical. The stones themselves are impressive, some towering meters high, and the setting makes it even more special. It's the kind of place where you can pause for a moment, look around, and realise you're standing in a landscape that people have been visiting for thousands of years. Arran is full of history, but Machrie Moor might just be its most magical corner. Continuing along the island's scenic west coast, I stopped to see one of Arran's most unusual landmarks. The 12 Apostles is a famous row of 12 distinct whitewashed cottages located in the small village of Catacall. Each cottage features a uniquely shaped first floor window. Traditionally, wives of fishermen would place a candle in the window to signal to their husbands at sea. The unique shape of each window allowed a fisherman to identify exactly which house was signalling. Built around 1860, they were intended to house people displaced from the island's interior during the Arran clearances. Originally, many displaced residents refused to move into them in protest. The houses sat empty for years, earning the local nickname Hungry Row. It's a charming bit of local history, and visually, the row of cottages against the coastal landscape is incredibly striking. Sometimes, it's the unexpected places that make travel memorable. Later that day, I arrived at what might be my favourite village on the island, Lochranza. If Arran already feels like a postcard, Lochranza feels like a postcard within a postcard. The village sits at the very northern tip of the island, where a peaceful sea loch stretches inland towards the mountains. And right on the water's edge stands one of the most photogenic castles in Scotland, Lochranza Castle. The 13th century castle was once a royal residence, visited by Robert the Bruce, and today its ruins create a dramatic silhouette against the loch. Standing there, it's easy to imagine centuries of history unfolding around this quiet harbour. What makes Lochranza special, though, isn't just the castle, it's the atmosphere. Red deer sometimes wander through the village. Boats gently bob in the harbour, and the surrounding mountains create an incredible natural backdrop. It's peaceful, beautiful, and exactly the kind of place that reminds you why Arran is so loved by visitors. After exploring the north of the island, I made my way back toward the east coast and the charming seaside village of Lamlash. Lamlash sits beside a wide, sweeping bay with views across the water to Holy Isle, and it is one of the most stunning coastal towns on Arran. Walking along the shore here is wonderfully relaxing. Fishing boats drift in the bay. Seabirds circle overhead. And the gentle sound of water creates a perfect backdrop for a quiet evening stroll. As the day slowly came to an end, I decided to stop for dinner at the welcoming Lamlash Bay Hotel. With views across the bay, it's the perfect spot to unwind after a day of exploring. Great food, a relaxed atmosphere, and that feeling of being somewhere truly special. Moments like this are what make travel memorable. On my final morning on Arran, I returned to Brodick to explore one of the island's biggest attractions, Brodick Castle. Set against the dramatic backdrop of Goatfell, the highest mountain on Arran, this historic castle looks like something straight out of a fairy tale. Originally dating back to the Viking era, the castle has been expanded and rebuilt over centuries, and eventually becoming the seat of the Hamilton family. Inside, it's filled with grand rooms, historic furniture, and fascinating stories from Scotland's past. But the grounds might be just as impressive. Beautiful gardens stretch out around the castle, with woodland walks and incredible views across Brodick Bay. It's the perfect place to spend a peaceful morning or afternoon exploring before heading back to the mainland. Before leaving the island though, there was one more important thing to do. A little shopping. Arran is famous for its local produce, and Brodick is home to several wonderful shops showcasing the island's best creations. My first stop was the Isle of Arran brewery, where locally brewed craft beers celebrate the island's independent spirit. Next up was the delicious Arran cheese shop, packed with award-winning cheeses made right here on the island. And finally, a visit to Arran Aromatics, whose beautifully scented soaps and fragrances have become famous across Scotland. It's amazing how such a small island produces many unique local products. And just like that, my 3 days on Arran had come to an end. Back at the harbour in Brodick, I boarded the Caledonian Mackmore ferry once again for the journey back to Troon. As the island slowly disappeared behind us, I couldn't help but think about everything Arran manages to offer. Ancient standing stones, storybook castles, peaceful villages, and landscapes that feel almost untouched by time. It's easy to see why Arran has captured the hearts of so many visitors over the years. Whether you're exploring its history, hiking its mountains, or simply enjoying a quiet walk along the coast, there is something about this island that stays with you long after you leave. And honestly, 3 days just doesn't feel like enough. If you enjoyed coming along on this journey around Arran, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, what is your favourite place on the Isle of Arran? And until the next adventure, thank you very much for watching.